There was a time when the internet felt like magic. You would stumble on a video that felt like it was made just for you. You stumble across a blog post or, just everything was random and unpredictable. Nothing was designed for maximum engagement or structured in a way for the algorithm. And it was strange and beautiful and unpredictable. That was what made it so magical back then. Because back then, we weren't just watching content, we were exploring. But it wasn't lasted for long. Slowly, creators and also big companies, platforms, they found a way to hack the system. They found what things made grab the attention of the viewers. And, YouTube creators or in general social media users and creators found out the rules, how the algorithm works. And then all of them just did what these rules told them to do. Now, everything is optimized for attention. You feel it, don't you? Even when you don't know what's coming next, you kinda do. That's the thing about magic. When you see the strings, the whole illusion is gone. And when a game becomes predictable, that's game over. But let me tell you a secret. The people who recognized this shift, who recognized that the game is over, are designing the new game. And it's already in the making. If you want to know what this game is all about, the new game, keep watching. So, hi, I'm Ayan. I want to tell you that this video, in fact, is a part of a 5-episode series. English is not my native language. I hope you still can understand what I'm saying. Now it's the first episode. So, I have a little disclaimer. I will read it to you. This video presents my theory. In fact, all the episodes in the series represent my own opinions and theories. I have no background in business and don't own one. In fact, I have a background in psychology. But why listen to me anyway? Because I believe perspective is much more valuable than knowledge. It's what makes the knowledge relevant and practical. People don't follow information, they follow perspective. Because information is shallow unless it filtered through a perspective. That's what gives it meaning. So, let's dive into the video. There was a time when reality TV felt unpredictable. Contests walked into a game with no blueprint, no pre-existing strategies, no past winner to analyze. They were figuring it out real time. All in the past TV shows, reality felt like much more fun to watch because people have come to a new territory. They had to figure out their own strategy, and it was really fun to watch. And you could see someone and feel like, whoa, this is a genius strategy. How can he come up with this? Now everyone copy the winners from the last seasons. Everyone knows what's going to happen. It's really predictable to the gamer and also to the viewer. And when a game becomes predictable, it stops being a game. We see the exact thing happened in social media, YouTube. Everyone knows how to maximize retention and how the algorithm works. And every video is the same, every thumbnail is the same. The game is not interesting anymore. So listen to this. Think about it. When everyone follows the rules, the only thing left to compete on is who plays by the rules best. I don't know what with you, but for me, I feel it's kind of a foolish goal, actually. Every creator is fighting for attention. The stakes are getting higher, the pacing is getting faster, the visuals are getting more extreme. This is how we've ended up in a content arm race. More jump cuts, more sound effects, more emotionally charged thumbnails, because when everyone plays by the same rules, the only way to win is to go more extreme than the last person. But here's the irony. The more extreme you try and the more extreme you get, the more people tuned out. And the more you try to hack the algorithm, the more you blend into the noise. That's what Mikey Posada, a YouTuber, I really like his videos. You can watch. I will try to link his channel down below. He made a video on something called brain rot. What is a brain rot? It's actually what's happening right now. As a society, we're being conditioned to consume faster, to skip anything that isn't instantly stimulating, to avoid depth in favor of surface-level engagement. People can't read anymore books because they don't have the focus that it takes. It's not just changing the way we interact with content. It is changing the way we actually think. People don't read anymore, they skim. People don't reflect on content, they react. People don't create from intuition, they optimize. But here's what most people don't realize. The second something becomes predictable, it loses its power, and it's not a valid strategy anymore. I see almost everyone in the digital space continue down this path, continue on this strategy. even if they are aware of the huge competition. Let's, for example, take YouTube, a huge competition on this platform. It's very saturated right now. And although this fact, people continue to go in the same way, same strategy like everyone else, and they don't think for a second that maybe it's not the right way. That's why I'm making this series, because I have some things I accumulated inside myself that I have to get out there, because I'm really pissed off of how people don't second guess and basically don't know to think critically. And yeah, so it's very sad, and I want to just like say a wake-up call. By the way, I'm apologizing for the sun. It makes the light very harsh, but right now I don't have any solution for that. Tell me in the comments if there's something that is really critical for you when watching a video. Oh, here's the thing, when a game is over, it's not really actually over. It just means a new game is emerging, and you have to ask yourself, it's not about how to win anymore, but what game you're even playing. So what's the game that is actually being played now? So like we said, the game is not anymore about how to win the algorithm. It's about what happens after the algorithm is collapsed. Because when everything is being optimized and gamified and manufactured, the only thing that people will pay attention to is what breaks this pattern, which is depth over speed, intention over optimization, substance over spectacle. This is why slow content is rising. So this is why right now people are craving immersive and deep and long experiences. I can tell you that, for example, myself, I really crave immersiveness. And what do I mean by immersiveness? I mean, go back to the, I don't want to say 90s, but yeah, 90s. Back then, all the TV shows, there was something about them that had an immersive feeling. Like, for example, you could watch how someone is going to his favorite coffee every morning, and there were scenes about just people chilling and getting up in the middle of the night, or dressing up for high school, and going, and the full scene of what happens when you get bored in the at the math lesson. All of these scenes, slow living day to day actions and routines. This is what gave these immersive experiences, like you are a fly on the wall of a character. And I really miss that, because now everything is fast and you don't get anymore these scenes, and I feel like these scenes are so important for you to connect to the story and to the character and to feel really inside this whole new world. And I feel like myself and a lot of other people right now are craving this feeling. Also, this is why, you can see now a lot of really specific niche creators who try to find the exact audience and people who are like them and who will resonate with them, instead of trying to reach, millions of subscribers, because they understand that it will allow them to connect to their audience in a more deep connection and more, authentic way and more intimate way. That's what people want right now. This is why also, connection is something that right now I see is really important, because people feel lonely. I sure maybe you and also other people around you can't find friends. I hear a lot of people who feel lonely and can't find true friends. So now connection is more important than ever, because the way society is structured so much about work and technology and all this stuff. So this is the result. People feel lonely, and it's really hard to make friends and to make connection in this society. So I will also want to make a video about this topic but not now. So maybe in the future, tell me in the comments if it's something that you would like to watch. So because everyone is following the same rules, the only real strategy left is to not play the game at all. The question isn't how do I win. The question is, why am I playing this game in the first place? That's the real shift. No playing harder, but playing better. realizing that the real game is happening somewhere else, and most people haven't even noticed yet. Most people won't notice this shift until it's too late. But the people who do notice, they are already building something new. Right now, the most valuable skill is not to know how to play the game, is how to recognize when a game is dying. And when you realize that, you stop thinking like a player and you start thinking like a game designer. So I really want to help you understand more practically what this new game is and what this means, even though you need to remember the game is still emerging, is not fully yet there, but it's already had some roots. So let's explore. So let's explore those. Blah. So let's explore those roots, and I have three fundamental, things to say here. The next game is structured upon ownership, depth, and connection. The next one is the shift towards digital real estate. Right now, content creators are waking to the harsh truth and the brutal reality that they don't own their audience. The platform does. Every perfect thumbnail, every viral hit, every great video, it all serves the platform first and only then you. You are borrowing attention, but the new game is not about borrowing anymore, it's about owning the connection with your audience. So something I came up with is that use your social media like a notice board directing to your house, your own private social media. Your private social media could be in the form of newsletter, membership sites, and personal website or whatever. Anywhere that lets you build an audience you actually own. This is why the smartest creators aren't chasing virality anymore. They are building moats around their audience. They're focusing on retention over reach. They're doubling down on depth, not speed. So the next shift is the shift towards love, not fame. In the old game, attention was the currency. Attention was the important thing. But in the new game, trust is the new currency. Trust is the most important resource that you can have. You know, until now, really what creators strived for is to be famous, is to have that fame, that admiration. For decades, the internet was a stage. Creator, influencers, celebrities, everybody was playing for the same prize, attention. The game was about being seen, admired, idealized. Social media turned personal brands into digital gods, and success meant followers, virality, and mass appeal. But that era is ending, because admiration is a weak foundation. The next game won't be won by those who are admired, it will be won by those who are loved. The death of celebrity, the birth of connection. So, even in life, you can see that admiration, when you admire something, it creates a wall between you and them. It creates distance, detachment. When you worship someone, you see them better than you, and it creates fans, not friends, really. Also, you can see this also in love, when maybe you could be the most popular girl at school, but in the end of the day, when you need some friend to really listen to you and to be there for you, there's no one to be found, because you have a lot of fans in the school and they maybe admire you or scared of you, but they're not love you. So popularity is not love, it's not connection. And today people want real connection, like we said earlier. Real love and connection, this is what lacks in today's society. The new celebrity won't be idolized, they will be deeply valued. They won't have fans, they will have a tribe of alliance. They won't chase numbers, they will build something unbreakable. This is why the attention game is over, because the creators who own real relationships don't need to play it anymore. So you want to take into consideration that the next game is about really making your audience participants in your brand. It's not gonna be like, for instead, I am the creator and you are only watching my content and only buying what I'm selling. It's not gonna be like that. I feel like, and even here in my channel, I want that my people, my community will be like friends, not like some, distant, like I'm the teacher or, something like that. I really want, because I myself need more connection and friends. I don't have friends. I really want through this channel to find my tribe of like-minded people, and I think a lot of us want that thing. And the new game will find a way. I don't know practically how this is gonna be, but it will find a way to to make people friends and not just some names you can see in the comments of your video. It will not feel like that. It will feel more like an ecosystem when everyone has a role and everyone has a part, and together, we share together. All of us shares um, knowledge and how we feel and our opinions, and together we can create. It's really like a movement. It's more like a movement than something else. And I actually have a name for my movement. I don't know yet if I can share it here with in the first video that I'm ever filming, but watch, follow my channel and subscribe, and I will share it with you in the next in time. Okay, so the third thing is the shift towards mastery over novelty. So, in other words, in the until now, people were chasing novelty, which means new videos every time, new ideas, new sound effects. I don't know, but now people crave more quality, and they don't care how much frequently you're uploading. Back then people were upload every day. You need to upload every day. Now it's not like that. Now quality really matters, and of course you can see all the, this competition out there. So of course quality will be matter. So build something that compounds over time instead of constantly needing to be refueled. Think about the creators who last decades. They aren't the ones who write trends. They're the ones who create foundational ideas. The world is flooded with cheap content. The next game is about being irreplaceable. So I want to challenge you. Until now, we were talking about how people don't recognize that the game is ending. We were saying that they don't play the right game. They played the wrong game because they're playing what has been played until now, and they don't recognize that there's a new game. But what if they do recognize this? What if the problem is not that they're playing the wrong game, but what if the problem is that they don't want to leave the old game? Maybe the enemy is not the algorithm that keeps them caged in, but themselves. So why don't we escape? I mean, if we know the game is broken, why don't people leave? So there's a book that's called Escape from Freedom, and in this book there's this notion where true, real freedom is really terrifying. Humans don't just crave security, they crave structure. Giving the choice between an unpredictable, open-ended world and the flawed, controlled system, most people will choose the flawed system every time. The blank canvas is too overwhelming for people. We see this everywhere. Creators stuck in the algorithmic grind, chasing after trends. People choosing job they hate, audience consuming whatever is placed in front of them even if they hate it, people choosing the illusion of control over actual freedom. But you know what? Real freedom is not comfortable. It's uncomfortable and it's terrifying, and it requires building something from the ground up. Really, it requires you being in the uncertainty. Most people don't actually want freedom. What they want is a structured illusion of freedom, the feeling of choice without the weight of consequences. But freedom isn't just the absence of control, it's the weight of responsibility. Think about it. Social media gives you goals. Post every day, chase engagement, hit the metrics. It doesn't matter if those goals are meaningless. They give you a direction. The algorithm gives you validation. You don't have to ask yourself if your work is good. The numbers will tell you. Virality gives you purpose. It doesn't matter what you create, as long as it gets seen. The system rewards you for following the rules, and that's enough for most people. So, you can see how people want the system. They want goals, so they won't have to figure it out from themselves, because it takes time to figure out what is your goals and what is your niche and what you want out of your life and out of your YouTube channel. These things, it's really easy that they're all given to you. So the algorithm, you can see how it already gives you meaning and purpose and a system and structure and security, in other words, that you don't have to deal with the fear of uncertainty. It gives you a sense of security and control. And it's actually like, someone who are satisfied in a salary paycheck every month, but are working 8, 10 hours a day, but they have the security of a paycheck every month. And the big people out there, the huge billionaires who controlling us through these things, because they understand that people want security and the sense of control. They understand this is a psychological thing that all of us has, and they leverage this fear for their use. And we actually we eat the bait every time. We bite the bait every time. We sometimes, I feel like we are acting like a bunch of fires and we don't see the hands that are controlling all of us. But yeah. So leaving that system means stepping into the unknown. When you stop chasing views, what do you measure yourself by? When you stop playing for trends, what do you actually want to say? When you stop optimizing for an algorithm, what do you optimize for? The truth is, most people aren't ready to answer those questions. It's easier to blame the system than to take full responsibility for your path. It's easier to follow a broken roadmap than to face the terrifying blank slate of true independence. That's why creators stay trapped. Not because they can't escape, but because the cage is safer than the open world. And the people who can embrace that discomfort, so the people who can embrace this discomfort are the ones who are winning the real game. Because they're not players anymore, they're designing the new game. If you would like to know what my theory is on how YouTube will become in the future and what will be the next game specifically here on YouTube, you can watch my next video in the series that is called The Dark Side of Personal Brand. I feel like everyone right now is talking about personal brand. You have to have personal brand, and Elon Musk and blah blah blah. They all, uploading stuff to social media and buying social media because they know that personal brand is really a huge thing. But a lot of people don't know how. Actually, they don't know what is a personal brand. They see only the good side, and they don't know that there's also a dark side that I think about no one is talking about. And you can watch my next video in the series. And the best part, you don't need to wait for it because it's out now in 1, 2, 3.